All right, so today we're going on an adventure to Antarctica.
Okay.
You guys sent us some really cool stuff about Antarctica.
Mhm.
Not just like the icy landscape and penguins that we all see on the nature shows,
Yeah.
but like what could be under the ice?
Right.
So we're talking about lost civilizations, possible aliens,
Mm.
maybe even like a secret war for Earth.
Wow. Okay.
So so we're going to dive into this YouTube video that lays out some pretty wild theories. It's from a channel called Beyond Truth.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah. They dive into some interesting stuff sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. A little out there.
A little out there, but
Yeah.
that's what we're here for, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes it fun.
We're going to look at what's beneath the ice, Antarctica's biggest secret exposed.
Ooh, that sounds promising.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not saying that this is all like gospel truth or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely sparked our curiosity.
For sure.
And luckily we have our expert here to help us sift through the fact, the fiction, and everything in between.
Happy to be here.
So what jumped out at you when you saw this material?
Well, I thought it was really clever how they mixed all these like popular fringe ideas, right? Like lost civilizations, ancient aliens,
Yeah.
government cover-ups, and they put it all together in Antarctica, this like really isolated, mysterious place.
Right.
It just like really gets you thinking like, what if?
Yeah, and I think it plays on our fascination with the unknown.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Like, is there something more going on that we don't know about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's start with this idea of a lost civilization called Toria.
Okay.
So the video claims they were in Antarctica like thousands of years ago. Super advanced, like they had help from these beings, from the Arcturus star system.
Oh, wow.
But even had portals to other worlds.
Okay.
But then this second sun, called the Raja sun.
Raja sun explodes.
Oh, no. It causes a climate shift.
Right.
And buries Toria under ice.
So like a cataclysmic event.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Pretty epic, right?
That's a great story.
That's a great story.
But how does this hold up against what we know about Antarctica from a scientific perspective?
Yeah, well, I mean, the idea of a technologically advanced civilization just like hanging out in Antarctica before it was covered in ice, which has been the case for millions of years.
Yeah.
It's highly improbable from a geological standpoint.
Yeah.
Like Antarctica, we know, has a very long history. And the science just doesn't support that there was ever a civilization like Toria there.
So what about this Raja sun idea?
The Raja sun, yeah.
Is there another sun out there that we don't know about?
Well, that also goes against our current understanding of like stellar evolution and the dynamics of our solar system.
Okay.
Our sun is a single star.
Right.
And the idea of it having this companion star that explodes and causes such drastic changes on Earth.
Yeah. It's not really scientifically plausible.
So it sounds like Toria is probably more myth than reality.
Most likely, yeah.
But the video doesn't stop there.
Of course not.
They bring in the Anunnaki.
Okay, the Anunnaki.
They show up after Toria falls.
Okay.
They set up their own underground empire called Agartha.
I've heard of Agartha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unlike the Torians, these guys are not so friendly.
No.
They're controlling technology.
Oh.
Experimenting on humans.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and basically plotting to enslave us all.
So they're the bad guys.
Yeah, they're the bad guys.
Okay.
So we've heard about the Anunnaki before. But where does this idea come from?
Right. So the Anunnaki are often linked to these ancient astronaut theories. And these were popularized by authors like Zecharia Sitchin.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
He basically interpreted ancient Sumerian texts as describing these extraterrestrial beings visiting Earth and like interacting with humans.
Right.
Yeah. But these interpretations aren't really accepted by mainstream archaeology or history.
Right.
It's more of a fringe idea.
Okay.
But then Agartha is interesting because it pops up in a lot of different like esoteric and mystical traditions, but it's usually portrayed as like a hidden spiritual utopia.
Right, like Shangri-La.
Yeah, exactly, like a paradise.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that the video presents it as this like dystopian, technologically controlled society.
Yeah, like the opposite.
Yeah, total opposite.
Totally.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I think it plays on our anxieties about like hidden power structures.
Oh, for sure.
Especially with technology.
Yeah, like who's really in control?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about the Nazis.
Oh, right, the Nazis.
The video says they were working with the Anunnaki.
Oh, come on.
They built a secret base in Antarctica
Okay.
called New Swabia
Swabia.
for research and experiments.
So are they saying that, like, the Nazis made contact with these Anunnaki and they're, like, working together?
That's what the video says.
Wow.
So is there any truth to this?
Well, it is true that Nazi Germany was interested in Antarctica.
Huh?
They launched an expedition there in 1938,
Mm-hmm.
and they claimed part of it as New Swabia.
Yeah.
But their goals were probably more about, like,
Okay.
securing whaling grounds and maybe establishing some kind of military presence.
Okay, so more practical.
Yeah, way more practical
Yeah.
than, like, collaborating with aliens.
Right.
There's no real evidence to suggest that there was any connection between Nazi activities and the Anunnaki or this Agartha civilization.
So we've got a lost civilization, alien invaders, a secret Nazi base.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And on top of all that, the video claims there's this cosmic war for Earth
Oh, wow.
going on between the Anunnaki and these enlightened forces.
So like a battle for the fate of humanity?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if any of this was even remotely true, why the secrecy? Why wouldn't scientists and governments tell us all about it?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Like, if all this crazy stuff is happening, why are they keeping it a secret?
Yeah.
Well, the video kind of suggests this massive cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are these powerful entities
Yeah.
that are actively suppressing this information,
Right.
which is a pretty common idea in conspiracy theories.
Like they don't want us to know?
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, the most likely explanation for the lack of evidence is simply that these claims aren't true.
Okay.
And, just because there's no evidence doesn't automatically mean there's a cover-up.
Yeah, it could just be that it never happened.
It could just be that it never happened exactly.
Right. So it seems like we have a really interesting story.
Yeah.
But when you look at the evidence, it's not really there.
Yeah. It's a great example of how these ideas can take hold and spread even without solid evidence.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the power of belief.
Absolutely. And how these ideas can tap into our fears and desires.
Right.
Even if there's no proof.
It's almost like we want to believe.
Yeah. There's a part of us that wants to believe in something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to be critical of what we see and hear.
Oh, absolutely. Like, question everything.
Yeah.
Evaluate your sources.
Yeah.
Don't just take things at face value.
And be skeptical.
Especially of extraordinary claims.
Yeah, exactly.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Right.
That's what they say.
Exactly. So even though this story might be a little out there, it does bring up some interesting questions, right?
It does.
It's like, what if there are things that we just don't know?
Mm-hmm.
What if there are mysteries hidden beneath the ice?
Right. Or maybe somewhere else in the universe.
Yeah.
We don't know everything.
You don't know everything.
And that's kind of exciting.
It is, yeah.
It leaves room for discovery.
Yeah.
And exploration.
So what do you think is really going on down there in Antarctica?
I think it's a vast and unexplored wilderness with a lot of scientific potential.
Okay.
There's a lot we can learn about climate change, about geology, about biology from studying Antarctica.
Right.
But as for lost civilizations and alien bases, I think that's probably best left to the realm of speculation.
Probably best left to science fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we definitely went down the rabbit hole with this one.
We did.
But that's what we do here, right?
That's what we do.
So if you're as fascinated by these mysteries as we are, keep exploring. Keep asking questions.
Yeah.
And remember,
what's that?
Approach it all with a critical eye and an inquisitive mind.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the mysteries of Antarctica.
It was a pleasure being here.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.